And we're live. Okay, hello, welcome to the Cinema Savvy Movie Podcast. I'm Chris Garner, joined with my co-host Tayte, and this is episode 2 of our brand new Game of Thrones series discussion. This is episode 2. This is called Home. I guess we'll jump into immediate thoughts as we kind of always do. Mixed bag on my feelings from the first episode, mostly with the Dornish stuff. You can check our review on that. That'll be just a few videos back, I think. We haven't really bought much out after that. But this one, in all honesty, I actually thought this was a solid episode for a change. This was sort of, I love when Game of Thrones goes like this, because there are some times where there's patches of it where I really hate it and I vow that I'm never going to watch the series again. But then it's always episodes like this that bring me right back to it. So yeah, I guess that's my immediate thoughts. What did you think overall of the episode?
This was a big episode. This is on the same kind of scale of series 4 episode 2 as far as an early series episode. So that was the Lion and the Lion and the Rose, was it, or what was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, which was the one where spoilers. This is a big spoiler review, by the way.
Yes.
So series 4 episode 2, Joffrey dies.
Yeah.
In that episode, and this is kind of as big an episode. This is a huge episode. It's the landmark for the program, as it leaves people kind of very hyped up for the rest of the series.
Yeah, this is definitely a big setup episode. Huge amount of stuff going on this episode. A lot of old characters coming back as well, and storylines that seem to have been dropped to the wayside. And I kind of want to say that this was one of the longest previously on Game of Thrones sections they've ever had, with like stuff going back to series 3 and even before then as well. But yeah, as you just said, this will be immensely spoiler heavy. We are going through the entire episode, every storyline, every character. This is a discussion episode after all, so if you haven't seen the episode, don't watch this because we will give away the entire thing. So watch it, come back, and then you can hear our thoughts on it. So you have been warned. With that said, we're going to work our way, again like we did last time, geographically from the northest point of the map in Westeros to the south. So we are kicking off.
We don't even start in Westeros, to be honest. Well, no, it's part of Westeros, but it's not really anywhere mapped on Westeros. We're going to start beyond the wall.
Beyond Thunderdome with this one.
We're starting off with Bran, who we haven't actually seen since series 4.
4, yeah. 4
He cut from series 5. He's part of his wizard training, as I'm going to call it. He is off to go see the Three-Eyed Raven. He's got Hodor there. Ash. Oh no, what's the girl name? I always forget her name.
Mira.
Mira. Yes, and it was Jojen.
Yeah. And also, I don't want to bring that bit up. I know I'm jumping ahead. We'll get back to the Three-Eyed Raven stuff. But with Bran, he's carried outside, and Mira's there looking very forlorn, very sullen, just looking out at the horizon, and she's saying, like, there's a war coming, and we're just here. I was kind of thinking, well, you were one of the people that wanted to get him there in the first place. It was paramount to get him there, and now you're having a change of heart. And then Bran was just like, "Oh, Mira, why are you so glum?" And I was there like, "Dude, her brother just died, you dick."
Well, no, the brother died a series ago. Come on.
Okay. If it's in actually real time, so it's been like a year of them just. Well, it has to be, right? Because like the Three-Eyed Raven's teaching him all about visions and Wargin and shit. He's also teaching him the ways of puberty. Because my God, Bran has aged between seasons. Jesus Christ.
And yet Hodor has lost age.
He has lost age and gained a new name in the flashback that we see.
We finally now know that Hodor's name is Willis,
which is kind of awesome. I mean, I don't think this stuff's in the book, if I remember rightly. He hasn't really got to much of his training yet in the book. But they said they were going to start doing flashbacks and stuff. They put the casting calls out and the description. Like the really eagle-eyed people, the people that are just so into this series are going, okay, they're looking for a child actor with blue eyes and brown hair. This means it must be the younger version of this character.
Yeah.
So we get a younger Ned, we get a younger Benjen, we see Lyanna Stark as well, which is Ned Stark's sister. They're clearly setting some stuff up for that. I think most people that are into the series and the theories and things like that know where that's going to go. But it was kind of nice to be back in Winterfell and seeing it sort of how it was in its prime, like it was in Series 1.
Before the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah, and now they brought up Lyanna as well. They also bring up Benjen, so I'm hoping we get some kind of resolution to that, because to
Yeah.
me that's like the biggest unanswered question of everything. Is
in the next time on Game of Thrones thing that they do, we see the Tower of Joy, which confirms theories, hopefully. But let's move away from that quickly and just talk a bit more about kind of the Three-Eyed Raven and what he's actually going to do this series, because I have a sinking feeling that he's not actually going to leave the tree this series.
No, he won't. He'll just be.
He's going to be there at the tree for the entire series, and he'll think about leaving at the end of the series, or he'll just have left for Castle Black.
Well, what I think might happen is that I think the Three-Eyed Raven might sort of pass away, or kind of do an Obi-Wan Kenobi thing where he disappears, and then Bran sort of like wires himself into the tree and controls everything from there. That might be kind of cool. I mean, because otherwise he's got to like crawl all the way back to Winterfell, and there's probably he's got to go south.
Again, there's the depiction of him flying, so
all that. So maybe if he stays at that place, stays in that cave, and becomes the new kind of Three-Eyed Raven, as it were. He's like in the command chair and can do everything. Also, the Three-Eyed Raven himself, he has changed from no-name actor, I think, with a beard tied into a tree, into Max von Sydow this series. Very, very jarring if you go from last Bran episode into this one, because the appearance is so different. I think they're banking on the case that they've had a year absence with this character, and we only saw like one shot of the Three-Eyed Raven. But he did look very cool. I thought the beard thing was cool. He was kind of like those things in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, that are like wired into the wall because they've been there for so long. But Max von Sydow is a phenomenal actor, so I'm really thankful that he's in this series, and he'll play a great character, and he plays it well. So yeah, we had the Hodor stuff with there. I think that pretty much covers it for Beyond the Wall, right? I don't think we really
covers Beyond the Wall, and then we get to where a lot of the big things happened from this episode at the actual wall. I mean, first of all, we had, as we predicted, the wildlings coming back with Dolorous Ted and taking over Winterfell. I'm not sure what that means for the Night's Watch now. I reckon they'll probably try and keep some of the wildlings holding the Night's Watch, I guess. Or they'll just abandon it completely. But it's all going part of my master plan. So I'm happy about that. If you wanted to see what my predictions were for the last series, I'll probably keep reiterating them, but go watch the previous episode. Because I sent out a lot. But then we have, what's his name? Wonton, the giant?
Wonton. I thought it was... Oh, God, I'm going so Game of Thrones nerdy now.
Because he has a different name in the books, doesn't he?
Get ready for this. I think it's Wun Where Wugdar Wun is his full giant name. They shorten it down a bit. I always thought it was him, because in the book, when Jon Snow lets the Wildings in, there's a giant with them who's really pally with them and gets quite a lot of page time. So I thought it was naturally him, but apparently it's not. It's Wonton. But he's a giant, and he's awesome. And he gets one of the best moments of this entire episode.
The kill.
The kill. Oh my God, so good. Like, as soon as that guy takes the crossbow bolt and it just goes into it, it's like a little pinprick, and the giant just slowly turns around. I was like, he's fucked. He's gone. And I didn't quite realize how brutally he was going to go. He's like picked up by his legs, just slammed against the wall. You get the splatter, and then just cascaded onto the ground. It was amazing. Love that bit.
And this is probably the first time we've seen the Night's Watch lose anything, really, at all, as a group.
Yeah, and what I don't know if this was intentional or if it's kind of a budget thing or just staging and things like that, but you really get a sense of at least this one part at Castle Black. There's really not that many guys left.
No.
I know they had the big battle and a lot of numbers went, and they already said they didn't have many there to man all the points of the wall. But it does feel really small. So when the Wildings come back in, it's like a breath of fresh air seeing a bigger crowd of people there.
Yeah.
No, but absolutely, so much stuff happens here. It was great seeing the Wildings come back, and the giant and everything like that. But also the big cliffhanger of the episode. Now, I know that this is actually the cliffhanger of the episode, but we're talking about it now because we split it up geographically. We all knew it was coming, and I guess this goes to what George was saying. He didn't give me any notes on this episode apart from one, which I'll get to when we get to Winterfell. But one of his concerns was that they were going to drag the whole Jon Snow resurrection thing out for as many episodes as they could. And it's really actually kind of refreshing that they do it in the second episode. So I'm glad as well that they did.
I had a bet on episode 2, and my friend had episode 3 down.
So you've come out good on that one.
I've gone good on that one. Funnily enough, one of my other friends said, "Oh, he'll get res." Thinking,
no. That corpse got musty as hell by that time.
I thought episode 2, it's called Home. He's going to get resurrected then. And episode 3, they thought Oathbreaker. Prediction straight up here. He's going to defect from the Night's Watch now. He's not going to stick around there, is he? No.
I don't know, because it depends. I think they keep their mentality mostly, don't they? It's not like a kind of Ra's al Ghul.
They always lose something. Remember what Beric said? Like, you always lose something. I was trying to remember
back to. Yeah, but he seemed kind of normal. He just felt very distant and sort of like emotionally empty each time, but he still seemed kind of sane. It's not like a Ra's al Ghul thing where you get more and more insane every time you come back. So, but we'll have to see how they do it. But we all knew it was coming. But I'm actually surprised by how many people I know were adamant that no, Jon Snow's dead. They were seeing all these clues come up, but they were like, no, they're going to keep him dead. So it's always kind of weird when I see people thinking that this wasn't going to happen, because I thought this was so obvious.
But there were photos of him on a horse in Ireland.
Yeah, I know. And the fact that, last series, Melisandre came back just at the convenient time that Jon Snow had died. We knew that she possessed this power. The fact that they weren't burning his corpse immediately, which I'm kind of surprised by, because I don't really know the expiration date on dead bodies.
He was the leading person to burning corpses, let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's true.
So they probably wouldn't be thinking about it. They thought, we've killed him, good job.
But I thought the actual last scene of this episode was really well. And actually some really, really nice character development from Melisandre. They kind of don't follow up on the stuff, as you predicted, where she was super old the last episode. She's a glamour. Whether that's going to come up later down the road, I don't know, unless it was just like a kind of neat little character.
I thought that was, according to the writers, I think her moment of weakness, and now she needs to bounce back. And I have a feeling that's going to be her bounce back.
Yeah, and it was kind of nice. Like, she's just having this complete crisis of faith. And it's a nice moment for Davos as well, I guess, because from series 2 onwards and all the way through the series.
He's a big character this series, though, isn't he?
Yeah, oh, definitely. And, well, they both are. And they kind of have this moment of truce where, he says again in this episode that he's not a religious man. You've got tree gods, you've got drowned gods. They're all the same. And in series 2 and stuff, he just chalks it up to kind of mystic nonsense, and it's all smoke and mirrors. Even when he sees her give birth to a smoke monster, I think that's the first moment where he kind of goes, oh, okay. But even then, he kept questioning her ability of the foresight and the flames and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he sees her in this state now, and he could very easily just be like, I told you so. But he realizes that Jon Snow needs to come back, and that this guy, he was the leader of the Night's Watch, and he needs to come back. And it was that nice moment where they talk. She's really depressed. She says that everything I believed in hasn't come true. And even when she's sort of performing the ritual at the end, you get this sense where she's sort of rediscovering it. Like, she doesn't seem like the big...
She even whispers out a little please. I think that's what kind of tipped... Like, you have, like, the Burn God just like, oh, I don't know, Melisandre, I don't know. And then she says please, and like, okay, fine.
Yeah. And also a really nice character moment as well with Tormund, where she keeps repeating the same thing and nothing's happening, and he just stands up like, I've seen enough. It's not working. And you can see like the pain on his face. He's not a kind of character that's going to break down and cry, because he's tough and he's hard and he's from the north. But it's just...
I'd have to say, Jon and Tormund have become good friends, even though they are enemies.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like the Mance Raider thing as well, like that respect. Yeah, and then it's kind of nice how they do it. Like, he leaves. Is Dolores Ed in the room too, or is it just
Dolores leaves then, and then Melisandre leaves,
and then Davos leaves. Yeah, and it's kind of a typical setup. Like, no one sees it happen,
other than Ghost.
And again, they're really playing up on that kind of symbiotic relationship between the direwolf and Jon Snow. This is sort of like all the characters with direwolves as well. We haven't seen Bran's direwolf, actually. They went with Asher. No, not Asher. Osher, sorry. Yeah, that's it. But how the wolf's asleep and Jon Snow's still dead at that point, and then he bursts awake and the wolf comes awake. I thought that was really cool how they handled that. Good cliffhanger as well. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out the next episode, or maybe they won't go to the wall the next episode. I can't remember seeing it in the next on Game of Thrones. So they want to drag it out
to the wall. They do go to the wall.
Oh, okay.
They show Jon kind of walking out into like everyone looking at him, saying it's like weird magic and stuff like that. And on the note of Rickon, after the events of this episode, I feel like he might be in the next one. What do you reckon?
Next series?
No, next episode.
I'm trying. He sent them north, didn't he? They've got to go to an island, and I'm trying to remember my knowledge.
They went to Umber, didn't they?
I don't know if they went there. In the book, they go to. Oh god, I can't remember. It's been years. They go to this island in the north, which is meant to be like really evil and full of pirates and dead things. And
I'm pretty sure in the show they go to House Umber.
They might do. It'd kind of cool to see them because again, they've kind of dropped those characters right, and I can't remember.
It won't be cool to see them because here is my prediction.
Okay.
They are going to be given to Ramsay as a gift at Winterfell.
I guess that would be a cool way to bring them back. It'd be different to the book, but I'd be kind of fine with that. As long as they don't kill them off. But...
Let's go into Winterfell, actually, because, like, a lot happened at Winterfell this episode. A lot. We'll go back up north slightly in a bit, because there's one little scene between Theon and Sansa and Brienne. But let's talk about this big scene that happened at Winterfell and the big character death of this episode.
Absolutely did not see this one coming.
Oh, I was shocked. I was completely all over the place. And, like, it was so unexpected. And it mirrored the way that Robb died so closely. It was crazy. We were, of course, talking about Roose Bolton, Roose the Goose, Rip the Roose. But, seriously, I was not seeing it. And do you think it was a bad decision for Ramsay to make? I think it was an obvious decision for Ramsay to make.
Oh, no, I think it was an obvious decision. What I was saying is that, first off, again, I'll reiterate, I wasn't pissed off by this episode. Last episode with Doran Martell dying, that was just a complete slap in the face to his future for the books and what his storyline could lead to. This one, I think it makes sense from a story standpoint. The only thing that I'm inclined to agree with my friend that he hated this death, by the way. He knew it was coming, he knew it was obvious, and he kind of thought that Roose Bolton's story had been told at this point and he needed to go. He didn't like the way he went because Roose Bolton is a really smart character. He's meticulous. He can plan all this stuff out. He helped devise the entire Red Wedding. And how did he expect Ramsay to act to this news? And that's the thing. Like, he embraces him and then he acts shocked when he gets stabbed. I think that Roose Bolton would be aware that Ramsay would try something like that, especially because he knows what kind of character Ramsay is. That being said, on first viewing, maybe after a couple of viewings, my opinion will change, but I didn't have a problem with the death. I thought it made sense. It completely got me. I think I let out a gasp like, oh, dude, they've killed him. I can't believe it. Yeah. And the following scene after that, too, was some of the best Ramsay stuff we've ever had. How that was shot, how that was set up. We knew it was coming. And this was the comment I was talking about earlier that George told me to say. He watched it last night, I think, live with when it streamed in the US, and he just put the message, Ramsay is a god. So I went into this episode going, okay, Ramsay's going to do something pretty badass this episode, and in all fairness, he probably does the most badass thing, right?
Well, other than being resurrected, yeah.
But yeah.
He basically becomes Warden of the North.
But I can't remember the name of the actor who plays it, but he just plays it so damn well. You can just tell he's having so much fun playing this character.
Let me find out quickly, because we should know his name.
And what you were talking about briefly as well, like the whole how it mirrored the Red Wedding, there's a lot of talk of like Robb Stark in this episode and the whole setup for that. I mean, we get the Karstarks back and the feud that was caused with that when Robb Stark killed...
We've also got Walder Frey coming back.
Walder Frey coming back. They mention... I think they do mention something else about the Red Wedding, don't they? I can't remember, but there's a lot of talk of that. It's in the previously on as well. So it's nice how they're going back to all this stuff. But in terms of the Roose Bolton stuff, it's kind of sad to see him go, in all honesty, because I thought he brought like a really good, cool presence and intimidation in the series. Very different kind of intimidation that we've seen in any of the other characters. He's more stoic and collected, and that's what makes him scary.
I would say he was a stronger version of Littlefinger's side of sneaky.
Yeah.
So he was the sneakiness that Littlefinger had, the plotting, the scheming, stuff like that. However, he had the brawn to match.
And ultimately, it was his family that brought him down again, as is often the case in Game of Thrones. But this is the thing. Like, I did think that he should have known what happened, especially because he was rubbing salt in the wound with like this new legitimate heir to his house. And we knew that Ramsay didn't take to this too well, and oh my god, he does not take to it well at all. Oh, did you get the name of the actor, by the way?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pronounce it. Ewan Ryan.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He's brilliant, and this next scene with Fat Walder and the newborn, it's moments like this which really shocks viewers with Game of Thrones. It is not afraid to go anywhere, and I absolutely loved it. I was applauding, I was cheering, and I'm not sure what that says about my kind of character, but I just love.
Whoa! You were cheering?
I love Ramsay. He can do anything. He can do no wrong. Ramsay gets a free pass. He's like Joffrey. They really try and go out of their way to make them evil. That it's hilarious.
You're crazy, man.
I'm absolutely cray-cray right now, but I just love Ramsay. He's so good, and everyone was watching it going like, oh, I hope he gets his comeuppance. And I was like, he will, but I don't want him to because I just like him so much.
Episode 9.
Yeah.
Calling it.
Mm-hmm. And they're definitely setting all that stuff up. Your predictions are going completely on point at the minute.
They are. I'm happy about them. And I did a little bit of research before I made my predictions. I always do a little bit of research. I go on different forums, stuff like that. One of the main ones where I get my source of information, believe it or not, is the Reddit one, which is actually quite good for Game of Thrones, whereas other TV shows it isn't as good. There's a good amount of discussion on there and a good amount of people kind of guessing what's going to happen. I've kind of accumulated them between each other. But once again, I just want to reiterate, Episode 9, the Bastard Bowl, the Snowball, whatever you want to call it, is going to be Ramsay in one corner, Jon in the other. They're going to be fighting. Then Littlefinger's just going to move his army up and sweep out the rest.
Yeah, so you think that Littlefinger is going to pretend to be on Jon Snow's side, so he gets the...
I think Littlefinger will actually be on Jon Snow's side, and he'll support Sansa, because Sansa's going to be going to the wall. Sansa will kind of be the heir to the army. She'll be one next to the north. She'll be the one wanting to take things back. We've already seen pictures of her with Davos, with bear sigils behind them, so I'm guessing they go over to Bear Island to get some more support from the Mormonts, and I think they raise their army down, they attack from the north, and Littlefinger attacks from the south, and they retake the north.
So it's kind of like that moment at the end of Blackwater, right, with Tywin.
Yeah, however, I think it's going to be less of a shock that Littlefinger's attacking from the south, and I think it's going to be more of they're going to be facing Littlefinger in the south, who's going to be raising an army. He's going to call him a traitor, and then they're going to turn around and see the other army up north, and that's where the battle's going to begin. And
I do need my Littlefinger fix soon because he's my favourite character in the entire series, and his ever-changing accents from Series 1 where he's English, and then he slowly regressed back into his natural Irish accent. He's fantastic. I need to see more of him. Hopefully next episode, but it'll probably be like episode 4 or something we get him.
Do you know what? Talking about Littlefinger's accents, he put on a really good accent in a certain film, didn't he?
Oh, I love how you just have that on standby now for every single live stream we do. It's just completely in arm's reach every time.
Dude, it's up on my shelf. I literally just go like that and just pull it across.
No, it's like you've got it there, like perfectly lined on the desk.
I've got it there, and guess what's right next to it?
Oh God, what have we got? Brooklyn. Yes. So from the severely bloody awful movie to the fantastic one, which everyone should go and see.
No, totally. Go watch Brooklyn. But as we move back north slightly and we talk a bit more about Sansa and Brienne and Theon and Pod,
Who's in the background in this episode?
He didn't have a single line, but
he's trying to make a fire.
I am unsure about why I feel like Theon going back to the Iron Islands. I know it sets up for the Iron Island storyline a lot better because now, well, as we'll talk about that a little bit later. However, I feel like he would have stayed there to redeem himself a little bit further, maybe. And maybe I still think that he's going to be the one who kills Ramsay. I still think it's going to be Theon is the one who's going to stab him. And it's going to be glorious. But for that to happen, it would mean getting the Iron Islands involved with this fight. And I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but I would still like to see that happen.
Yeah, and I'm sort of there with it. I would like to have seen Theon and Sansa maybe hang out a little bit more throughout the series and kind of bring that sense of redemption back. But I think he's going to do that through actions more than just words and just acting really sad.
If the Iron Islands support Sansa's claim to the north, then that would make a lot more sense.
And these two probably get one of the nicest scenes again. I mean, last time we said our favourite scene, well, sort of emotional scene, was the scene with Brienne and Sansa, where
surprisingly Sansa's getting all the emotional, really nice scenes. What's going on?
I know, yeah. Sansa's really good this series so far, and Alfie Allen as well was just playing it brilliantly. He's just insanely good when he was Theon, and even more so probably now when or I guess he's back to Theon now, or at least the slow kind of clawing his way back up. If he goes back to Pike, then I guess that's when he'll sort of come back into his own again. But
one final thing go on.
I was just going to say, I know what he did to Sansa's family was unforgivable and betraying Robb Stark and everything like that. But the moment where she says, well, you could take the black and all your sins would be forgiven, I was like, oh, God, she's still not really forgiving him, is she? She's like, oh, yeah, go up north and just stay there for the rest of your life. Yeah, then I'll accept your apology. So I thought that was a bit out of order. I'd like to have seen a, I forgive you or something like that. Because this guy's gone through so much. Just cut the guy a break at this point,
Well, the other theory being, instead of it being Littlefinger's army, it would be the Iron Islands and Sansa's army with the wildlings attacking at the same time. In which case, that would make a lot more sense for Ramsay being killed by Theon. And it would make a lot more sense for Theon's redemption as he's giving the North back to Sansa. Although I'm not sure whether the Iron Islanders would enjoy that as much. But it would give a full circle of redemption there. One other thing that happened up there was the fact that Sansa now knows that Arya is alive.
Yeah, and what I loved about this scene as well, which was a bit contradictory, like Brienne acts surprised when she says, well, I found Arya, but she didn't dress like a lady. I'm like, well, you didn't dress like a lady. You told us this in the other series. Like, you were one of the only women who was dressed in full plate mail and armor and fighting with the boys and everything like that. I mean, you should connect with this girl. She's kind of following in your footsteps. But no, I loved all that stuff. A really small scene as well, but a really nice one, and it kind of sets everything in motion where everyone's going.
Kept ticking over nicely.
Yeah, and then we talk Pike.
Where's that? Down to Winterfell. Karstarks, we haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah.
And he didn't act as surprised at all when Ramsay killed Roose.
No, you could tell they had something planned.
Some sort of agreement.
Yeah. And I loved the Maester as well. Like, bless this guy. Like, we saw him in the first episode of Series 6, looking really shocked. And it was like, tell everyone that he was killed by poison by his enemies.
Yeah.
Say it, and it's just the look of terror on this guy's face. But yeah, the Karstark stuff, I mean, all that stuff's fascinating, and I like that we didn't see them have this discussion to plan it out, because when you do get a moment like this when Roose does die, it makes it all the more surprise for us. But yeah, I picked up on that too. Didn't act surprised at all, so that's really cool stuff, how Ramsay's been plotting and getting all this stuff set in motion, probably since like halfway through last series when he heard that a son was on the way. He was probably getting all this stuff sorted out.
Let's jump to somewhere southerner, King's Landing. The capital.
Oh, we're going to bring it back to Pike later on?
Oh, wait, sorry, I completely forgot about Pike. I'm so sorry. I was looking at the list, I was like, oh, we've already talked about Pike. No. Let's go to Pike. Let's go to somewhere colder then.
Oh, my God, yes. Greyjoys are back, finally.
Greyjoys are back.
Oh, my God.
How many series? 3?
Series 3, yeah. Oh, my God, they completely just dropped this plot point completely. It was the moment where, I think this was Series 3 as well, where Stannis was doing the leech ritual for like to kill all the kings. It was Joffrey, it was Robb, and it was Balon Greyjoy. Now we know Joffrey died with the choking, Robb died at the Red Wedding, and then the whole Greyjoy thing with Balon Greyjoy and Yara.
Balon Greyjoy won the Battle of the Five Kings by being the only king to not involve himself in the battle and somehow still win.
I guess you could argue that it was because Melisandre's faith was shaken, so her power didn't work, and then when she kind of comes back at the end, then the prophecy is kind of fulfilled. But no, it's really just a case of the showrunners not wanting to juggle too many characters and completely forgetting and ditching one of the most interesting plot points in the entire book series, in the entire series in general. But thankfully, it's back. But I don't know if it's kind of a little too late at this point. I don't know how many audience members will go, oh yeah, I remember these guys and that guy. And
well, they did on the previously on Game of Thrones, they did go back to the Greyjoys to give them credit.
Yeah, so, I guess so. As I said, like in the previously, there was a lot of going back. Like
they went back to the Karstarks. They went back to Series 1. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah. So with Pike, we get Balon back and we get Yara back, and it was great seeing these two back. I love how Pike looks like from when you see it on the map and the whole environment of it. I absolutely love that. And when you were saying earlier, though, that you think that one of the armies might be the Iron Islanders, I don't think so, because Yara makes a very, very good claim in this episode that if we're on the sea, we've got it sorted. If we're on land, we're fucked. And we pretty much showcased this to everyone where we got our ass handed to us by the North. So I think they're going to stick to the sea in this one, but I don't know if that's going to be the main focus, because we get introduced to Balon's brother too. Euron.
Trailer to the series, we do see a ship at sea.
Yeah. So I think we might get some sea battles later on in the series, though, because they're going to be the next good chunk of episodes is going to be the King's Moot and setting that up and all the factions in that one. And especially with Theon heading back now, that's not the direction he goes in the book at all. But I think they could do some interesting stuff with that, especially with him and his sister and his uncle, Euron. And how that scene was framed, it was just great. It was almost like Force Awakens, how you've got Kylo Ren and Han Solo on the bridge. And it's moments like that where they do pay homage to the book. In the book, it happens off screen. They just say that Balon was walking across a rope bridge in a storm and he fell off. And then just at that time in the book, his brother shows up and goes, oh no, my brother mysteriously died. Now I want to be king. So it's only hinted at. In this, we get physically shown it that Euron had something to do with his death.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. When it goes back to the book, even if it changes it slightly, it's always good. Didn't really get a great look at the actor playing Euron. He's not really much like how I imagined his character in the book. I know when I think like Series 4 was coming out, Mads Mikkelsen was rumoured for a while to be playing him. When they were going to do the Greyjoys then, but maybe that's when they decided, no, we want to push it back and tell that story later. Yeah. I think that kind of actor would have worked a lot better for his kind of character, but we only get a really, really short scene with him, so I'm hoping we get a lot more with him, get to understand his character, and get a bit more of that personality coming through, like the book.
I mean, I don't really know much about the books because I'm only on book 2.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know at all, but I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do.
And they've definitely still streamlined all the Greyjoy story down. Again, in the book, Balon has 3 brothers, not just the one. You have Euron, who's the guy in this. There's Victarion, and there's Aeron Damphair, who's the high priest of the Iron Islands. He's the one. He's sort of the character you get at the end of this, where they're doing the funeral ritual and with the long, scraggly grey hair. But they don't specifically say that that's Balon's brother, because he doesn't have any kind of emotional reaction or say that he was my brother too or anything like that. But he's one of my favourite characters in the books as well. But I mean, I'm cool if they do streamline it. It makes sense. There's a lot of characters they've got to juggle anyway and everything crossing over. So it makes sense to streamline it. But I'm just so glad finally that we get back to Pike and get some Greyjoy stuff. And I'm hoping it's not going to be as long a wait before we get the next episode. I hope they really keep up the momentum of it now, as well as everything else they've done. Because, I mean, the Wall stuff's fantastic, Winterfell stuff's fantastic, and this could be fantastic too. So
everything in the North is amazing right now.
Yeah, Absolutely. It's way more interesting the South stuff going on at the minute.
Let's go to the South stuff.
Yeah, let's speaking of the South.
Finally.
You want to let us know what's going on in King's Landing then?
Oh, Cersei is Cersei. Just, like really kind of detached from everyone or anything. She hasn't forgiven Tommen for not doing anything or not actually saying hi at any point whilst she was in jail or even going to visit her after the walk.
Yeah.
And Tommen, sweet little Tommen, does actually go over and is like, yeah, sorry, Mum. And she's like, nah, mate, having none of it. So
I think she comes around at the end, though. I mean, you do kind of understand Tommen's perspective on things a little bit. At least I do. I mean, it was kind of harsh that he banishes her from going to her own daughter's funeral. I thought that was kind of messed up. But he does go back and apologize, and that is probably one of the nicest scenes at the end where he says, like, help me be a strong leader. You do get that really brief glimpse of Joffrey, though, in him.
Yeah.
Where he goes that part of me wanted to just kill everyone for doing that to you or trying to do that to you. But, he was trying to use a bit of diplomacy. He was a different kind of character to Joffrey, but you do get the hint that Cersei has the potential to bring that out in him because she is ruthless and you can see that building her in her. But all that stuff was cool and stuff where he says, help me be strong. And she was like, always. I love that kind of stuff. What else? The opening scene, by the way, just going back to like when we first get introduced to Cersei in this episode, the guy who whipped his dick out in front of her during the walk of shame, he was like a fan favorite for me in that episode, and he gets a little bit of a monologue at the start of this episode, and then gets swiftly, his head gets crushed into a wall by Sir Strong, and Sir Strong's so cool in this episode. He's so cool.
It's the fact that he's so silent. It's so funny.
Yeah. And it's the bit where he's escorting Cersei down the stairs, and the Lannister army come in and say that King Tommen says you've got to stay there, and he is just stone-faced, just standing there like, fucking make me. Come at me, bro.
And he would have taken all of them, let's be honest.
Yeah, and you get like, you can't really see his face through the mask, you just get like his glazed over eyes and like...
there is a theory behind whose head that is.
Well, is it a theory, or has they just outright said it at this point? The show's made it pretty obvious.
Oh, no. We know who the body is, but who's the head?
Oh, the actual head?
You're looking really confused here. But someone pointed out the other day that his head, the eyes, they're not the same colour of eyes as the mountain. Do you know whose they are, though? Joffrey's.
Oh, so is it like the mountain's body with Joffrey's head on top?
That's what people are thinking.
I'm not sure, because how they kind of frame it, like he didn't get his head caved in or anything, did he? The mountain.
No.
His body was pretty much intact, and you see him on the operation table, like the slab.
Yeah.
He's all intact. I think it's a mountain. That'd be pretty cool, though, although it would be very unnaturally weird if he does actually take the helmet off at any point, and it's just Joffrey's just dead face there. It's kind of cool. I like how they didn't show like the actual operation or things like that with Qyburn, I think his name is.
Yeah. The only thing you see is the poison being pumped out.
Yeah. But no, the King's Landing stuff was great. And also Jaime as well. They explained the eyes as well. I always thought those were hilarious, seeing those on the dead body, the pebbles with the eyes on. They explained that, but the Jaime and High Sparrow confrontation was fantastic. Really, really well done on that one. And it's just Jaime how he's unwavering. Like, he doesn't care about customs.
He is a lot more brutal now.
Yeah,
I think
it's because his family, right? He's trying to keep.
I'd like to say Marcella was the innocence in the family.
Yeah.
And now that she's gone, any innocence that Jaime had is gone, and any innocence that Cersei may have had has gone. And I feel like the Lannister's going to be a lot more brutal this series.
So if we're going to go with predictions, because we like our predictions on this show, I think that the Lannisters are going to make a big resurgence in power this series. We've seen in the trailer where they're taking on the Faith Militant and all that stuff. I think there's going to be a big battle in King's Landing with all of this stuff going on, and I think that the Lannisters are going to come out on top on this one. and they're going to be kind of not at the height of their power, but they're going to be very close to how they were in the first couple of series. With this, I think Cersei's going to be strong, but the question is, what's that going to lead to Marjorie and the Tyrells? Is the union still going to be in place? Because technically, Tom and Marjorie are still married.
Again, going back to the trailer, there was a scene where Jaime is mounted on horseback with Mace Tyrell, with an army in front of the High Septon gates.
Oh, okay. So they are going this series, and we were predicting debts.
Lannister will always pay his debts.
Absolutely, yeah.
2, I want an episode called "Hear Me Roar," because that is the name of the Lannister slogan, and I feel like that would perfectly match that kind of scening of Jaime just going absolutely ham.
And what's great about this series is, and this is just the nature of the books, nature of the show, how the houses peak and wane, and they can make comebacks and things like that. And I think the Lannisters
have just stayed at a high level the whole time.
I'd
probably say House Bolton until this episode.
See, not at high power, but in the books, I would say the Dornish, because they keep very much to themselves. I mean, I know Oberyn was a hit, but he's always got a plan. He's always got a strategy. So I think that probably in the books it would be the Dornish. The Vale are doing pretty good. I mean, they professing that they've got like an almost 300 Spartan level army, like an impenetrable fortress, which is the Vale.
They keep on saying that fortress is impenetrable, which makes me think there's going to be a scene where people are going to try and get to it.
It'll be Bronn, right? Because he says that in series 1. He's like, give me like a couple of good men and some grappling hooks. I'll impregnate the bitch. But actually, we haven't seen Bronn for a while. It'd be kind of good to see him.
He'd be back in King's Landing, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but I guess they've sort of exchanged him for Varys this series with the power duo with Tyrion and Varys.
I feel like he'll be, when Jaime goes off on one, Sir Bronn of the Blackwater will be there to support him.
Yeah.
He has been... Just remember, he's been given a bigger castle and a better-looking wife in exchange for that Marcella trip. So there's going to be a scene of him walking on the beach with his new wife and his new bigger castle, and Jaime's going to be there and says, bigger castle, better-looking wife.
And then plus that, he's also got that sand snake in Dawn, right, on the side.
Oh, that's going to happen.
The bad
sure that's going to happen.
Which is quite possibly the worst line in Game of Thrones history. I can't believe that made it into the script.
Do you want to quote it, or do you want me to quote it? Do you want to quote it, or do you want me to quote it?
Oh, you can quote it.
Is that because you can't remember it?
Oh, I know the bad pussy is like, you want... What is it? I can't even remember. It's the first line. It's like 2 sentences. I remember the last one.
You want a good girl, but you need a bad pussy.
Yeah. Moving on. Moving on. Let's go to Bravos.
Let's go to Bravos.
Arya's still getting beat on.
Yeah.
She's blind. Cut her a break. No, she's still getting smacked in the face with this chick.
What point do we call this bullying? What point do we alert Childline?
You should have done that in episode 1, then. It's just unfair at this point. And the fact is, I love that no one's doing anything about it. Like, we get...
Whoa, stop you there. No one is doing anything about this.
Yeah.
Wait till he gets it.
No one is doing anything about this. What, they're all in it? It's a training ground?
What is she?
Oh, okay.
That took you a while.
Yeah,
Jesus
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Cut me a break. But no, I think they're going to like move it away from this now, because I guess it would kind of get a little bit old every episode to keep doing the same thing over and over again, where she keeps getting beaten on with a stick.
Although the next episode, in the next episode trailer, you see her getting beaten on with a stick.
But in a different location, and that's the main thing. But, so I guess they will do it then. I was just going to bring up the point that I did want to kind of see her become Daredevil with that stick. And just, you know, rely on a reflex and stuff. But if you say that they're going to do that fighting again, then they will get to that point.
Mm.
And I like that there was that one moment where I thought Arya might cave in, where Jaqen H'ghar comes back and he says, like, if a girl says who she really is, she will sleep under a roof tonight. And she says, a girl is no one. You will eat tonight, things like that. And she doesn't back down. And there's that smile that he gives, and he's like, okay, she's got what it takes. I'm going to take you training to the next level right now. I know a lot of people are getting bored with it. I think George was getting bored with all the Arya stuff. As I said last episode, I love this kind of stuff. Characters where they're training up to be a badass.
I think we just need a Rocky-styled montage next episode. Just a 5-minute sequence, Rocky 4-esque. We've got the music going on in the background with the techno. We got her kind of training, running in the snow, even though she's nowhere near snow. We then got her just kind of like punching things, doing her training inside a barn because they exist in this universe. And then like we've got Russian spies who are actually like the Bravosi people kind of spying on her.
We'll have like Sir Strong be like the Dolph Lundgren character and just getting up with all this serum and drugs.
Still the same music, just him running around the athletics track, just like instead of punching the things on the wall, he's just putting people into walls.
Forget Clegane Bowl, it's going to be like Sir Strong versus Arya just to match our Rocky 4 montage.
Yeah.
Oh, everything needs a Rocky 4 montage. Just everything. The world would be a better place if it had it.
Everything needs a Rocky 4 montage.
Oh, it so does. I was a complete tangent here, but how they're doing Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. If I was directing Quidditch through the ages, it would be a homage to 80s sports movies with an underdog team with so many montages in it. Please,
come on. We all know that. We all know that if Quidditch was on TV, it'd be on ESPN the Ocho.
Oh man, I know you hate Rocky, but we should do a Rocky conversation at some point. I need to watch that movie again.
Okay, so moving on to the last place, we got Meereen, which was on fire last episode. And Tyrion is drinking things and knowing things, which I believe is already you can already print those off on T-shirts, as I've seen online.
Absolutely, you can always pick out the trailer lines. Always.
It's a good quote. It's a very good quote.
Yeah.
And he finds out that Yunkai and Astapor have fallen back to these slavers, and his response is releasing the dragons. Yeah, which is the natural progression of things. And it was a very tense scene. It was a very funny scene. It was a very tense scene as well.
Well, we knew that Tyrion wasn't going to get burned. We know this show likes to surprise kill characters, but I think the day that they kill Tyrion in the series is the day that everyone immediately, collectively stops watching the show. So we knew he wasn't going to go. But can I just say, though, the CGI and visual effects on these dragons is incredible. Oh, my God. These people must have been given way more money this series. Not to say that the dragons, the other series, have been bad, but the days you go back to like series 1 and 2, and then you see what they achieved now with the environments, with the establishing shots, and the dragons look movie quality now. In some shots, I'm even going to say it, they look better than Smaug from the Hobbit movies, and that's done by
definitely. Yeah.
Then again, it is done in a very dark environment, so you can kind of mask it a little bit more. But it's right up close. The camera is right up close, and there's never that just sense that these are completely fake. They look like living, breathing creatures. So hats off to the visual effects department for that. But I like that because it's like Tyrion giving that monologue as he's taking the chains off. It might be a bit convenient how the dragons just immediately take to him. Like he just goes, whoa, 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 it's cool. I'm a friend of your mom. I'm a friend of your mom.
Guys.
Yeah. And then they just...
Zerion, right?
But then again, there are theories in the book that Tyrion might be the child of a Targaryen. Yeah, so I don't know if they'll ever get to that.
Well, it's meant to have a purple eye. They didn't do this in the TV series, but one of his eyes is meant to be purple, isn't it?
Yeah, and some say that may explain why his dad was very distant with him because it wasn't his kid and stuff like that. But no, it was a nice scene. Tyrion isn't quite the same as he was, which is a bit of a shame because he was so much fun. Like the first 4 series, I guess. Series 5, he was very sort of depressed, and that was the character, and rightly so because he did totally like that with his lady love.
He's starting to recover now.
Yeah, but he is getting the witty one-liners. There was more eunuch jokes in it, and he was like saying, "Well, you."
I think that's going to be the theme of the series. Just the joke from the first episode was just so funny and so brutal, and this one was even more brutal because he even had to go and apologize to Grey Worm Messiah.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the first time we've seen them this series, right? Grey Worm and Missandei. They weren't in the previous episode.
No.
They're kind of just there. I really don't like their characters, but when they're at a subject like this, where they're just like a punchline of a joke, that's pretty funny.
I feel like they'll come into it a bit more in the series. I reckon once Grey Worm is fully recovered, he will take like the rest of his Unsullied and just run through the streets and kill off all the harpies.
Well, we know that the what are they called? The
Sons of the Harpy.
Yeah, sorry. The Sons of the Harpy are back this series. We saw them in the trailer, so we know that that's going to amount to that. Did Tyrion say what his plan was with the dragons, or did he just want to make sure that they were strong just in case they need them for some kind of assault?
No, he said release them just because Slaver's taken back over Yunkai and Astapor. How are you meant to hold Slaver's Bay? Daenerys is meant to be the mother of dragons. The dragons will waste away if they stay in that cave. And probably the best way to strike fear into people and take back over the city is to release 2 fucking great big dragons, which is a logical approach. It's just the idea of him going into the cave and releasing them.
Well, he unchains them, but he doesn't actually release them, do they? Do they close the door back up?
No, they don't close the door back up. He unchains them, and then they just kind of decide to go back into the cave. Maybe they got some like spare food in the fridge before they leave.
I don't think those dragons are fitting through that door. I really don't. That doorway's tiny.
They haven't grown since they've gone in, have they? Not by much.
Well, no, because they said that their growth was stunted because they were chained in there. So maybe they'll get around it like that. But I was expecting him to like properly let them out into the open.
I think there'll probably be another exit. You'd think.
Yeah, probably because it's in the pyramid, isn't it? It's in that big
pyramid. So they're probably going deeper into the pyramid.
Yeah. But I mean, it's great when he says that the dragons that were let out in the wild grew to be, I can't remember how long he said. He said like so many miles long or something like that. And I'm really hoping that Drogon, the big black dragon, gets to that site. Because can you imagine the last series, that attacking King's Landing? That's going to be immense.
Be stupid, but...
It'd be like Shadow of the Colossus or something. But
kitten-sized one.
I think that's pretty much it for this episode, right?
I think so, yeah.
Covered everything. So yeah, in short, just to wrap up, I loved this episode. I thought this was a solid episode. I think going back, I know I haven't seen all the other ones, but I think this stands the test of it might actually be one of my favorite episodes of this series and definitely of the last couple of series. It was really good. It was balancing a lot of storylines, but I think it advanced them all in a very good way. We're questioning a lot of stuff. We're speculating about a lot of stuff. All your speculation seems to be coming true. So whatever you speculate, I'm just going to go along with it because it seems like it's going to that. Did you think the same then? So your final words, then we'll wrap up.
I'm happy that my predictions are coming true, and this episode was one of the best episodes we've had in a long time. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to how this series panning out, and I can't believe we have to wait another week.
Oh, isn't it when it gets to like episode 9 or something, you have a 2-week wait? Isn't it like Memorial Weekend or something?
No. Why would they do that?
Don't you remember that they did that for the Red Wedding? I don't know if it was the week before the Red Wedding episode or if it was the one after that, but yeah, you have to wait 2 weeks for it.
No, they're going straight on through, it looks like. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right then. No 2-week wait. Because
the series finishing on June 26th.
Tate's just getting all of his speculations right because he's just staring into the fires every night.
Well, the next episode's after Oathbreaker, so Oathbreaker's name in the next episode. The one after that is called Book of the Stranger, and the one after that is called The Door.
Yeah. So, I have no idea what that's going to insinuate. Also, really, really briefly, I'm not going to go into this in depth, but Thoros of Myr was referenced this episode.
He is confirmed to come back.
Yeah.
He's actually confirmed to come back.
So that is why I'm thinking
Stoneheart.
Maybe not the next episode, but Oathbreaker, it seems like they're going back to a lot of the old storylines that I think they were originally going to breeze past because they only had 7 series, but now they've been bumped to 8, or as you said, possibly even 10. I don't think it will go that far because I think it is ramping up towards the end soon. So I think they will hit 8. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they go back to some of the old storylines. But yeah, that'll do it for our discussion on Game of Thrones. Before we peace out, though, we need to give you a couple of updates. This Saturday, which will be the 7th of May, will be our 1-year anniversary on the channel. And just before we've hit that mark, we have hit 400 subs. So thank you very much to everyone that has hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we can push for more. We're going to bring you more content, more reviews. We're always discussing new shows and things like that. So Please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and you're first discovering us through these videos, because we would like you to be a part of the channel. And to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, we were kind of discussing a couple of ideas. What could we do? And we've just sort of decided to settle on a Q&A video. So you can post your questions to us on Twitter or Facebook. We'll get them all written down and then we'll go through it on Saturday. We'll probably be doing it on a live stream like this, I would expect.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, God damn it, live or nothing, live or bust. We'll try and get everyone in that. Hopefully everyone should be free, because it would be good to get everyone for the 1-year anniversary and just see how much the channel's grown over the years. Over the year, sorry, not years, not plural just yet. But yeah, please do submit your questions, because we do want quite a lot of people on that if we can. We'll have dates and time. Well, we've got the date. We'll have times up once we know everyone's schedules and things like that. But it will be on that Saturday. In terms of film reviews, though, I really don't know what the next one out is, because, I mean, we just got Captain America Civil War, which we've done a review for, which you can check out. So I think that's pretty much just going to be dominating the cinema for the next couple of weeks until we get the next one.
Yeah, but, I actually just went straight over to the, what's it called, to see what the film schedule is. So I just want to have a quick look. I want to go see Demolition. So if you're up for that, Chris.
Yeah, if it's playing at the cinema, I'll check out Demolition, sure. That's
yeah, sure, that's fine. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll do it for this video, and I don't know what the next video is going to be. It could be a reaction from me, could be another review, could be another live stream, whatever it is. Please do hit that subscribe button. You'll find out what it is. And until that next video, we will see you guys next time. So thank you very much for watching.